Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Uncle Mad here. Bonus surprise, short notice, Saturday, early evening, late afternoon live stream. Didn't get a live stream in last night like we usually do on Fridays because, for once, me and Jessica actually went out and did something on Friday night. It was a rare exception where we weren't just old people sitting at home doing nothing. We actually went out and had some fun last night. Unfortunately, that led to me breaking the streak of uploading some content every single day of the year. I had a video loaded, a short that I was just going to publish just to knock out something and say I published something. And I left it on private. I never listed it as public. So technically broke the streak, didn't get any content out on the channel yesterday, but going to make up for it today. We've got 2 videos out. We had Saturday come out earlier today, so go back and watch that if you've not done so already. And now we're making up for our missed Friday night live stream with a Saturday afternoon live stream. A lot going on this weekend, so I figured there's some stuff to chat about. We've got Nashville SC tonight taking on Seattle Sounders at Geodis Park, the first of 4 remaining home games for Nashville SC this season. 4 out of the 5 games remaining at Geodis Park. Need to get some points tonight. We can clinch a playoff spot with a win. There's also some scenarios where we can clinch with a draw or a loss. Certainly feels like, it's inevitable that we're eventually going to get this playoff spot locked in. I mean, even though we've struggled a little bit lately, we gave ourselves enough of a cushion to make sure that we'd at least get in the playoffs. Whether or not we can push forward and maybe get ourselves up in the standings. Oh, Vandy just recovered a fumble, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. We'll have to see. If we can push ourselves up in the standings a little bit, maybe knock on the door of, even 5th. I think 4th is probably out of reach right now, but I think 5th is potentially attainable. One thing we have going for us is some of our matches are against people that are ahead of us. Philadelphia, but I don't think there's any catching them. I don't think there's Moon was barking in the background somewhere. I don't think there's any catching Philadelphia. New England is a team that maybe, if results go our way with all the chaos, everything that's going on up there with the Bruce Arena situation, they're a team that maybe possibly we could catch, but if we can't get anything going, if we can't get on a roll, if we can't start playing better soccer, it's not going to really matter. Gary has said that all the players are fit and available for tonight's match, with the exception of Lucas McNaughton, who's still dealing with a lower body injury, a leg injury of some sort. He specifically mentioned that a big key for these last few games is to get Sam Surridge and Leal integrated into the team and get them firing to make sure our attack can get going. So I'd expect to see both of them in the starting lineup tonight based on those comments. So it should be a good game. Seattle Sounders, always a tough team to play. Long road trip for them, though. Hopefully that plays to our favor. We can go out and get a result tonight. I'm excited. I don't know if Seattle's ever. I feel like they have to have been here at some point in time, but it feels like it's been forever. I'm excited to play Seattle because my friends that I go to the games with and sit with hate Jordan Morris. They are just all-time J-Mo haters, and I somewhat trollingly will back him and support him in their face at all times just to be a little bit of a troll myself. But should be a fun match. We'll be going to the Geodis Park live game day vlog. Will be coming out tomorrow morning from that. So subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on for notifications, and keep an eye out for that one tomorrow. And then tomorrow, once the vlog comes out, I'll be going to the Titans game. The Cincinnati Bengals come to Nissan Stadium to take on the Tennessee Titans. Hoodly. I'll be at that game. There will be a vlog from that game that will come out Monday. So once again, subscribe, bell on, notifications. Ooh, Auburn's up 17-10 on Georgia. That's an interesting score. Huh. Early in the third quarter, a lot of time left in that game, obviously. Yeah, Bengals come to Tennessee, and it is could not possibly be a worse time for them to come here. I mean, that game last week against the Browns was just one of the worst games I've seen the Titans play. That's probably a little bit hyperbole. It's probably not one of the worst games the Titans have ever played because there have been some really down years. I think my buddy texted me during the game and asked me, is this going to be the worst Titans season ever? And I was like, no, nothing's going to ever come close to some of those Wisenhunt seasons, some of those years where somehow Zach Mettenberger ended up being our starting quarterback out of nowhere. But I think this one feels worse, and it feels maybe hits harder because there was more expectations on this group than there were on some of those really bad Titans teams. And that's our own stupid fault. We looked at everything, should have seen it coming. Should have been, we got another journeyman left tackle that nobody else wanted. We signed another veteran wide receiver, which actually he's been one of the bright spots in the team, so I shouldn't lump him into the recurring thing. But we just looked at a lot of stuff, and if you go back to like my season previews, it's probably littered with me just going, well, if this player actually ends up being good, if this player actually ends up being good, if this player actually ends up being good, and none of those players have actually ended up being good. Like the obvious one, the big problem, there's a lot of blame to go around when you lose the way the Titans did last week, but I think everything a lot of the issues they had in that game stem from the fact that they could just not pass protect. They could just not block. They couldn't run block. They couldn't pass block. And the Browns defense is really good. Myles Garrett might be the best player on defense in the NFL right now. So you can only say so much about a matchup with a team like that. But at the same time, you got to get a result. I mean, the Steelers just beat them Monday. They're not unbeatable. They're not that good that they're unbeatable, but we just couldn't do anything. I mean, less than 100 yards of total offense. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, Andre Dillard's just been a disaster at left tackle. And I've seen some people say they think, once Skoronski comes back in, that'll help because that'll make the left side a little bit stronger than it is with Radunz on there. But I don't know how much help a good left guard can make a bad left tackle better. And we got to play Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals defense, which just mauled Matthew Stafford Monday night. So that's great. That's really exciting to see how badly we played against Myles Garrett and then have another elite pass rusher and elite pass rushing defense coming into town. And just outside of all of that, the Bengals have just been like our boogeyman the last couple seasons, going back to the playoff game and really even before that. I think Joe Burrow was 3-0 in his career against the Titans. And one of those wins was his rookie season when they were like one of the worst teams in the NFL and they somehow beat the Titans that season. But beat us in that playoff game when, the beginning of the turn, people have turned on Tannehill for the 3 interceptions in that game. People have just never forgiven him for that. Last season, close back and forth game, we just couldn't seem to make plays when we needed to. Joe Burrow leads a late drive to beat us last year. They acted like they won the freaking Super Bowl. That was the weirdest thing ever. Like their little fifth string wide receiver who was the up back on the kneel down did like a backflip. Ted Karras was saying, F you, Tennessee, F you, Tennessee, as he's leaving the field. Like, I don't know why they celebrated like it was some kind of big revenge victory against us. I mean, they've beaten us 3 straight times. They're unbeaten against us in Joe Burrow. They came into our stadium and beat us in the playoffs 2 seasons ago. I don't know why they felt they had to. I don't know if they've got that Michael Jordan thing where they've just talked themselves into like there's a personal situation in every game or something like that. But I would fully expect them to come in here and beat us again. I mean, it's tough to see how we could bounce back and recover quickly, but now we also, know Skoronski's still out, so that potential fix on the offensive line is not coming in. Treylon Burks is out injured now. Elijah Molden's out injured. Treylon Burks is one of the ones I was kind of talking about earlier when I said, Trey, he takes that big step forward. He could be a huge player for us this season, and he's had a couple big plays, but not consistent enough, like too many drops, too many times where he's not able to create separation and get himself open and, we're not able to do a lot to help get him open because we're having to bring extra pass blockers in to help out the crappy offensive line. It's just a mess. And I can't see a path to winning this game right now. The one, kind of hope we would have is that their offensive line is equally as bad. And Joe Burrow is, dealing with a bad calf injury that's kind of immobilized him. But they've done a better job of figuring out ways to get the ball out of his hands quickly and not put him in situations where he's having to hold the ball and take hits. And even if we are able to get to him, even if we are able to hit him, the playoff game 2 years ago, we sacked him 9 times and still lost the game. So, I mean, I don't know with the weapons they have, with the firepower they have, that it matters getting to the pressure because he'll take those and just come back with a big play. And that was the thing. We made a few big plays on defense and then immediately shot ourselves in the foot against the Browns. I mean, that horrible, just insane 16-yard fumble where Deshaun Watson threw the ball backwards and the next play was like 2nd and 42, and we pass interfere and give them an automatic first down right out of the gates right after that. So that's the biggest problem, just inconsistencies, shooting ourselves in the foot, and then the offensive line being terrible. And so with those problems, I don't see a quick fix for any of those. I think the Bengals might even kill us tomorrow. It might be really, 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 really brutal for the Titans tomorrow. All right, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up some stuff here. We'll go through my picks. Last week, I was about the same as I was 2 weeks ago. I think I was either 6-5-1 or 7-4-1. Let me pull up last week's picks and all. tell you how we did on those. So we went Dolphins 6.5, easiest win in the history of the world. They won 70-20. Browns 3.5, got that one right. Commanders plus 6.5, they got killed. Jaguars -8, they got killed by the Texans. Falcons +3, they lost the Lions. Colts +8, they won outright. We got that one right. Vikings -1. That was those two teams are like mirror images of each other, except Herbert's probably slightly more talented quarterback than Kirk Cousins, but both teams tried everything they could do to lose that game, and the Vikings the Chargers in that one. Patriots -2.5, won that one pretty easily. Packers push -1, they won by 1 against the Saints. Seahawks -5.5, that was an easy win. Bears +12.5. I said till the Chiefs can really get the offense going and prove they can beat somebody up. I thought 12.5 is too many points. Turns out the Bears are just the worst team of all time, and the Chiefs got things going. Pittsburgh +2.5, they won outright, got that one. And then Bucks +5. Eagles just kind of had their way with them. Bengals -2.5 on Monday night, got that one right too. So 7-6-1, just above 500, a little bit short of where you want to be at that 65% range, but overall, pretty good week for picks. One thing I did this week, I did my first ever, not first ever, I've done this before, but first ever for a live stream. I wrote out my power rankings for the NFL. So maybe this will help us make some plays. We got the power rankings to kind of utilize as we make our picks this week. Number 1 team in the league, I got the Eagles. I think there's a case to be made for all of the top 3 teams that I have right here, but the Eagles just seem like the most complete to me. Got weapons all over the field on offense. They've got a quarterback who can kind of do it all. Great offensive line, great defense. They, because they've been winning without being really necessarily impressive. They just do whatever they need to do to get wins. Monday night against the Bucks kind of reminded me of the Titans-Browns game, honestly, where they didn't have to do a lot to win that game, and they just did what they needed to do, and Tampa couldn't do anything to stop them. Tampa couldn't do anything to move the ball themselves. And just, I still think Tampa's kind of good, but the Eagles are just that much better. 49ers I've got next. I still want to see Brock Purdy in like a big, tough back and forth game. They've won all their games pretty comfortably, pretty easily so far. He's looked good. That's kind of where I knocked them down a bit. Same thing with the Dolphins. They haven't really, they absolutely destroyed historic victory over the Broncos, 70-20, just unbelievable offense right now, but haven't really played anybody tough yet. They got the Bills this week, so that'll be a really interesting game to see, how for real the Dolphins are. And obviously, you're going to have the questions about Tua's health going for the whole season. Until the whole season gets done, until he plays the whole season, that's always going to be a question mark hanging over their heads. You got the Chiefs at 4. They're still the Chiefs. Bills, I got 5. They've kind of rebounded from that bad loss in week 1 to the Jets and looked good the last couple of weeks. Big test for the Dolphins, though, because they beat 2 bad teams. Now they play the Dolphins. Game of the weekend, probably, so big test for both teams. Cowboys, got them 6th, kind of a weird, fluky loss to the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I'll talk about them in a minute, look a little bit better than maybe we all thought they were going to be. But the Cowboys, they always have one of these games where they just completely go haywire and everything blows up. Probably good for Cowboys fans to get it out of the way early in the season and not have it like late when you're chasing a division title or in the playoffs or something like that. So maybe it's a good thing to get that kind of wonky game out of the way. Ravens 7th. They're just decimated with injuries again. They seem to have not been able to, them and the Titans last few years have just never been able to stay healthy, been able to get anybody to stay on the field. But I still like them. I still think with the receivers, when everybody's healthy, the defense with Lamar, they're going to be a good team. 8, I got the Browns. That's probably recency bias just because they destroyed the Titans. 9, I got the Lions. Full disclosure, when I made these rankings, I had Lions and Packers flipped. But then after the game Thursday night, I switched them just because the Lions just kind of handled the Packers. Where do you get your poster frames? Let me see here. Got a couple I want to frame myself. I just get them on Amazon. I, get measuring tape out, see what size my posters are, order them on Amazon, get them there. Just simple, really easy. So Lions 9, Bengals 10, Seahawks 11. This is where everybody's kind of in like a mush, where everybody's similar to each other, but not too different. Rams 13, Bucks 14, Steelers 15, Saints 16, Colts 17. The Colts are going to win this stupid South Division. I'm so mad about it. Like, it's just the luckiest team in the world. Luckiest stinking team in the world. Falcons 18, Jags 19, Texans 20, unless the Texans win it. Every time the Texans have won the AFC South, it's been when like every other team is just completely falling apart, and it feels like that's what's going to happen this season, and everybody's just going to be completely falling apart, and the Texans are just going to swoop in and be just okay enough to win the division, or the Colts because they're so lucky. One of those two teams. The Jaguars, Titans, we're done. Chargers 21, Titans 22, Cardinals 23. They might be a jumper. It's too early to really go too far in it, but I'm getting a little bit of the vibes of last year's Seahawks, where everybody counted them out. Everybody said they sucked. We got a veteran, journeyman quarterback coming in. Nobody expects him to do anything, and they could be 3-0 right now. They were destroying the Giants before they blew that game. Week 1 against Washington, they played them pretty close, even though they didn't necessarily play well. And last week, they went out and beat the Cowboys. I mean, their defense is legit. They can run the ball. Josh Dobbs isn't killing them. He's just doing smart things. You could very easily see Josh Dobbs being this year's Geno Smith and the Cardinals being this year's Seahawks, or they might lose 13 straight in the season. One or the other. I don't know about their coach. I'm still he's a weirdo. He's kind of weird, so I still I'm not sold on him. If I was more safe on their coach, I'd probably be gung-ho on jumping on the Cardinals to kind of shock some people, but I've still got them kind of low, 23. Patriots, 24. They probably should be higher. They're probably better than the Titans. Giants 25, Vikings 26, Commanders 27, Raiders 28, Jets 29, Panthers 30, Broncos 31, Bears 32. Seems like the Justin Fields era, Chicago might be over. They may go Caleb Williams next year and replace Josh. Why did my brain just stop working? What's that dude's name? I just said his name. Justin Fields. Holy crap. You just live in person saw my brain die for a second. Justin Fields, I got a similar thing to him that I do with Baker Mayfield, where I just was so impressed by him at one point in time that it's just locked in my brain forever that he's going to be a good quarterback at some point in time. I mean, the situation he's in the Bears, I don't know that any quarterback could go and succeed. They always get the comparisons when they drafted Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes, and I don't know that if the Bears drafted Patrick Mahomes becomes Patrick Mahomes, because he goes to Kansas City, gets a year to learn behind Alex Smith, is working with an offensive guru in Andy Reid. If he goes to Chicago and the crap show they've been for the last decade, where's the support system? Where's the stuff that's going to turn him into an elite quarterback? He might easily have ended up just like Mitch Trubisky. And so I still think there's hope for Justin Fields. If the Bears do move on from Justin Fields, I wouldn't be opposed to the Titans maybe giving him a run out. It seems like a low risk, high reward type deal. Obviously, Vrabel's Ohio State connections. He will have known him pretty well. He wanted an Ohio State quarterback this year in C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's been, by far and away the best of the rookie quarterbacks, best quarterback in the AFC South period this season. And it's always going to be a what if, because there was a lot of rumors, a lot of rumblings that the Titans were going to try to trade up to 4 to get Justin Fields, I can't stop saying his name, to try to get C.J. Stroud if the Texans went with Will Anderson at 3. And obviously the Texans took Stroud and maneuvered around to move back up to 4 to get Will Anderson 2. Supposedly they got the information that leaks got out that the Titans were going to go for C.J. Stroud if they didn't get him at 3, so they felt they had to go for him. It'll be a great what if he turns into like a generational talent and the best quarterback in the history of the AFC South. If, what could have happened if a little bit of a leak didn't get out, if the Titans had managed to find a way to maneuver up and get him. Sad days. But I wouldn't be opposed to the Titans trying to get Justin Fields if he's done in Chicago. All right, let's go through the games. Let's get the picks for this week. Once again, these aren't actual bets. I'm not betting all these picks. These are just if I was going to bet, this is what I would bet on each and every game for the NFL weekend. All right, we got Falcons, Jaguars. I'm pumped for this game. I can't wait to watch this weird. They're doing a broadcast on Disney Plus where it's going to be like somehow animated in the style of Toy Story for the game. Not like an overlay or like just like little graphics on the side like the Nickelodeon games, like fully animated game. Can't wait to watch this. It's Jaguars -3 is the current line. They're coming off a butt whooping against the Texans. They're going to be the team that's a little bit more prepared. They go to London pretty much every season, so they'll have a little bit more preparation for doing that than maybe Atlanta will. But I kind of look at the Falcons as like Titans light and like good Titans, not bad Titans, where they're going to be gritty. They're going to be tough. They're going to fight in every game. So if I get them +3, I'll take Falcons +3 because they might win that game outright or, lose by 1 point. So I'll go Falcons +3 in the London game. Dolphins, Bills. Like I said, game of the weekend. This one's going to be exciting. Can't wait to, see what happens in this one. I'll be at the Titans game, so I'll have to just, catch the replay and watch the highlights later. But Bills are 2.5-point favorites, which is crazy. I mean, tells you how good this matchup is that the Dolphins just won a game by 50 points last week, and now they're 2.5-point underdogs the week later. Like I said, neither team's really beaten a good team yet, so this will be a big test for both teams. I'll take the Dolphins in the points. 2.5, I'll take that. Eagles, Commanders, Eagles -9. Commanders sneaky beat the Eagles late last season. I was actually in Jamaica when it happened. It was a pretty good game. They were trying to broadcast it down there in Jamaica on the screen, and it was a terrible stream. It was awful, but it was a good game. But I think this Eagles team is just in rhythm, is just in form, got things clicking, and the Commanders, I think they kind of got exposed a little bit last week after a decent first 2 games. I think they come back down to earth. Another comfortable win for the Eagles. Eagles -9. Bengals, Titans. We talked about this one. Like, this almost feels weird. Like, the Bengals are only 2.5-point favorites. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's at Tennessee. I don't know if they just think the Titans bounce back after losing games a lot of times. I don't know if the injury to Joe Burrow is keeping that line a little low. But, I mean, honestly, Bengals -2.5 feels like stealing. Like, they could win that game by 21, 28 points. I'm taking the Bengals. Vikings, Panthers. Vikings -4.5. I believe Bryce Young is still going to be at it for this one. Vikings play every game close, and this year they're losing all the close games, but I don't know if the Panthers are good enough to keep it close, so feels bad, but I'll take Vikings -4.5 in that one. Steelers, Texans. Steelers at Texans -3. Texans home dog coming off a big win against Jacksonville. Like I said, this could be a year where they put together 9, 10 wins and just win the AFC South because everybody else just sucks. The Steelers are one of the teams I think are sneaky going to be good and be better than we thought they were going to be coming into the season. So I'm going to stick with that. I think I've picked them every week and been somewhat disappointed. But I'll go Steelers again this week. Steelers -3. Ravens, Browns. Browns 1.5-point favorite. I know Watson's been out of practices this week with a shoulder injury, but I feel like it's expected that he's going to play still. Baltimore dealing with a ton of injuries. I like Baltimore. I think if they can get healthy, if they can get some players back, they're going to be a team that's going to be dangerous late in the season. But right now, going against that defense without some of your best offensive weapons and some of your best defenders, I'll take the Browns. I think they win that game. So if it's 1.5, I'll take that. Rams, Colts +1. I think the Rams are still good. Like, they were in that game with the Bengals Monday night until they just couldn't suddenly protect Matthew Stafford. Colts aren't going to have the same level of pass rush that the Bengals had. I think Matthew Stafford will have more time. He'll be able to move the ball better. Anthony Richardson's coming back from a concussion this week. What does he bring? I like the Rams to win that game, so I'll take them -1 there. Bucks at Saints. Bucks +3.5. Saints are going to Jameis Winston. Derek Carr is out. Like I said, Bucks have been one of my kind of Cinderella teams that I think are going to be still pretty good. They looked terrible against the Eagles, but I think the Eagles are the best team in the league. So I'm going to go Bucks +3.5 here because I'm still riding that train. The worst game in NFL history. I feel like we've had one of these 3 straight seasons where early in the season, the 2 far and away worst teams somehow end up playing each other. We've got it again this year. We've got Broncos, Bears. Broncos -3.5. I saw a lot of people saying that it's hilarious that the Broncos just lost by 50 points and they're favored on the road at the Bears. That's how much of a dysfunctional mess the Bears are, is that they're home underdogs to a team that just lost by 50 points. I'm going to go Bears. I'll probably regret it. I went Bears last week and regretted it, but I think the Broncos are quietly even more of a mess. Like, Sean Payton and Russell Wilson from the get-go seemed like that wasn't going to work. And Russell Wilson hasn't been as bad this season as he was last season, but he's also not really doing much to help them win games. He's not anywhere close to the Russell Wilson he was before. And you can tell Sean Payton's kind of fed up with the whole deal there. He's shushing reporters, telling them to, get to their questions and stuff like that. He's clearly frustrated with what's going on there. I think they quietly might be more of a mess than the Bears. And I think this could be a game where the Bears just kind of strip it all down and go, let's just have Justin Fields run the ball. Let's have our running backs run the ball. Let's not do anything stupid, crazy. Let's just keep the game contained, keep it in front of us, not let anything crazy happen. Keep it close, 17-14 win for the Bears. So 3.5, I can take that because I can see it going 17-14 either way. So if you get 3.5, you get the hook on that. I like that for the Bears. So I'll take the Bears. Famous last words. Raiders, Chargers. Chargers are 4.5-point favorites. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo is in concussion protocol and is probably not going to make it back for this game. Shocked that Jimmy Garoppolo would miss a game injured. Never would have seen that one coming. But the Chargers, man, it's so hard to take them. It's so hard to like believe in them because they just that last week, Staley going for 4th and 1 deep in your own territory when the other team's giving them basically a chance to win the game, and then the Vikings out stupided them. So, but the Raiders, I think, are right there with the Bears, Broncos amongst the worst teams. So I'll go Chargers minus 4.5. 49ers, Cardinals. 49ers 14-point favorites. I talked about the Cardinals being maybe sneaky, a better team than anybody thought. Like last year, I had the Seahawks picked to be the worst team in the league, and they ended up winning being one of the better teams. Geno Smith, comeback player of the year. They make the playoffs. I see a lot of similar things with this Cardinals team because they've got a good running game. They've got a good defense. Quarterback's not killing them with mistakes right now. 49ers have been unstoppable. I want to look at this because so Christian McCaffrey scored a touchdown in something crazy like 12 or 13 straight games. So his anytime touchdown right now is minus 275. That is insane for a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going with my gut here because I feel like I like the Cardinals. I feel like I've talked a lot about how I think they might be better than we thought they were. So unless the word has just come down from on high, hey, you got your one win, you got out of your system, get the tank back on. We can't lose Caleb Williams to the Bears or the Broncos. Don't do anything else. But I think they can keep it close. Maybe I think their defense can contend with the 49ers better than some of the teams the 49ers have played so far. 14 just seems like a lot of points for a team that's played pretty good football so far this season. So I'm taking the Cardinals plus 14. Patriots and Cowboys. Patriots plus 6. Cowboys minus 6. What are we going here? Cowboys coming off a bad loss. Do they respond? Do they bounce back? I think so. Like I kind of used talking about power rankings. I kind of have the Patriots kind of low. I think, I don't know. They don't seem to have what they used to have. It seems like it's more than Brady, though. I mean, Brady obviously was a huge part of that, but it seems like there's the mystique, the magic, just all around is kind of leaked completely out of the Patriots now. So I'm going Cowboys minus 6. Sunday night game. What a game this could have been if Aaron Rodgers hadn't got injured. Chiefs at Jets. Taylor Swift reported to be in the house once again, if you've been following that story. Chiefs 9-point favorites. That feels crazy. That feels like stealing. Like, I guess they're giving the Jets defense some credit and saying maybe they can keep it close, but I don't see it because I feel like this is the week that Zach Wilson, if it all, causes the Jets defense to just maybe even quit, just kind of give up, because the Titans defense kind of did that last week when the offense couldn't get anything going. They just kind of threw in the towel for the most part, which was one of the more disappointing parts about that Titans game, was just to see our defense, which should be one of our strengths, should be one of our, strong areas, just kind of capitulate. And I kind of think the Jets might end up doing the same. Chiefs minus 9 feels like stealing. I'm taking that. Then Monday Night Football, Seahawks at Giants. Long road trip for the Seahawks, but you kind of got an extra day to prepare for that with the Monday night game instead of playing it on a Sunday morning or a Sunday afternoon. So I think that kind of takes it out. And that seems like that hasn't really affected teams the way it used to be. It used to always be like a thing, like if a West Coast team was going east, you almost always wanted to be on the side of the East Coast team, or vice versa. But it seems like maybe with modern stuff, the way they're able to take care of their bodies more, the way they're able to travel smoother and easier, it hasn't been as much of an issue over the last couple of years. I think the Giants kind of stink. I think Saquon's reported to be out for this one again. Seahawks are fine. So fine versus stink. I'll go with fine. Seahawks minus 2. All right, so that's the picks for all the NFL games this weekend. Just a reminder, we'll be at Nashville SC, Seattle Sounders at Geodis Park tonight. We'll have a recap video out tomorrow. Then Sunday, also tomorrow, I will be at the Titans game. Recap reaction video from that game will come out Monday. So if you like just watching somebody hate their life and be miserable, make sure you stay tuned for the Titans vlog on Monday. Thanks for watching. We're going to wrap this one up. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.